Hey guys, today I'm testing for my 4th Dan black belt and I'm required to make a presentation, so I thought I'd create a Draw My Life video, Taekwondo style. I apologize in advance for my drawing, but here we go. My story starts 8 years before I was born, in Peru, where my family is from. My oldest sister Melanie was just 7 years old, and she was a shy and quiet kid, so my parents hired a Taekwondo instructor to teach her. They started off in the living room and they had to move around the couches and TV so they would have room to practice. They wanted her to do this to learn how to defend herself and to get some confidence. A few months later, my parents officially opened a studio and a ton of new students joined. Fast forward a few years is when I started my Taekwondo journey. Well, kind of. I officially started in karate. I was shy and I was terrified of taking classes. My mom says I was the kid who hid behind her legs with huge, tear-filled eyes. What can I say? The world seemed like a scary place. Then came the big move. When I was 5 years old, we moved all the way from Peru to the US. I remember telling a friend at school that I was moving and I would never see her again. She didn't believe me, but we packed up our bags and flew to our new home. Fast forward a few more years, we started our first studio here in the US. By this time, I was already a black belt. I had fun at Taekwondo because I got to hang out with friends and do cool things. This is the time when things started getting harder for me. My teenage years were tough. I had a love-hate relationship with Taekwondo, as most teenagers do, because they want to hang out with friends and do common high school sports and activities, which I did. I was actually crazy enough to try out for my high school's cheerleading team and made it. But I struggled in Taekwondo. I hated sparring and I hated competitions. This was because I always lost and I didn't like always watching my friends get medals and not me. Sparring was one thing I always wanted to be good at because it was cool, but I was just scared. This was tough, especially because kids weren't always nice. I remember I had one friend tell me, I thought if you practiced this sport your whole life, you'd at least be good at it. This made me hate it even more. And here comes the most pivotal part of my story. When I was 19, I decided it was time for a change. The change was that I wanted to overcome my fear of sparring. I trained, I learned how to eat well, I listened to my family's advice, and finally came the time when I won my first fight, Collegiate Nationals 2012. Unfortunately, I lost the finals, so I only got silver. However, this was great motivation because the whole next year I worked even harder because I wanted to make the US team. Every time I kicked in training, I imagined scoring a point in the competition. I was obsessed and focused. This paid off as I managed to win Collegiate Nationals for the next 4 years in sparring. This led me to traveling to places I never imagined. I've gone to Australia, Argentina, Korea, Spain, Tahiti, and so many other countries just because of the opportunities that Taekwondo provided for me. Now today, I'm here testing for my 4th degree black belt. If I can say just one thing that Taekwondo has taught me, is character. The 5 tenets that we learn as white belts are more than just words. They're what shapes the lifestyle of a true martial artist. I have huge goals for myself for the future, and I owe it all to Taekwondo, my supportive family, and all the good people around me. Thank you so much for your endless support, and I hope anyone watching this at least now believes you really can do anything you set your mind to.